Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good Tavach, Shvat Tov. We are learning Mishnah is Tainis, Parak Aleph, Chapter 1, Mishnah Beis, Mishnah 2. Now, there's this first line of the Mishnah can be a little bit confusing only because of the wording regarding the interpretation. There are two ways of explaining this part of the Mishnah. Ein shayel inas hakashamim ela samach lakshamim. Literally translated, it means we do not ask for rain except close to the rainy season. Okay? Now, the previous Mishnah discussed Mashiv Haruach Hamerid Hageshem, right? That is called, that we say that we're mentioning Hashem's great powers of rain. Now, the Mishnah uses the word asking for rain. What does asking for rain mean? Asking for rain sounds like we're not just praising Hashem, we're asking for it. Where do we ask for rain in the davening? The saying, Talu Matar Levracha, and Bracha Barach Aleinu. In the summer, we say the same bracha, like now we're saying the same bracha. And in the winter or in the rainy season, we say the same tal umatar livracha, give, do, and rain. So the wording of the Mishnah, when the Mishnah says we don't ask for rain, we're talking about asking for rain. So it would sound like we're talking about the ask, which means the same tal umatar livracha. But there's actually two explanations given in the Bartanura. One explanation is that it doesn't literally mean to ask. It's continuing from the Mishnah before, and we're really talking about saying Mashiv Haruach Hamerid Hageshem, and the Mishnah is saying we only ask for rain or we only mention rain. So that's what it means according to this interpretation. We only mention rain close to the rainy season. What does that mean? We only say Mashiv Haruach close to the rainy season. That would mean that we say Mashiv Haruach starting from Shmini Atzeres. The rainy season begins after Shmini Atzeres. And therefore, it would be saying that our Mishnah would now basically be saying that the argument we had in the previous Mishnah as to when to start Mashiv Haruach, which was one opinion was you start from the first day of Sukkot, and the other opinion was no, we do it by Shemini Atzeres, that our Mishnah is really following that opinion. Our Mishnah is authored by a Tana who says this is what we do. We do it close to the rainy season, close to the time we want the rain to fall, which is Shmini Atzeres, not the beginning of Sukkot. That's if you learn the beginning of the Mishnah is talking about saying Mashiv Haruach. But if you say the beginning of the Mishnah is talking about the ask, which means we're saying Talumat Levracha, that everybody agrees to. That when do we start asking for rain? By the rainy season. Everybody agrees to that. Nobody's going to say, no one says you should start saying Talamati Levracha starting from Chalamite Sukkos. No one says that. Everybody agrees once it comes to asking for rain, that already is done closer to the times for the rain. Now, the thing is, though, the next part of the Mishnah is for sure, according to everybody, going back to Mashiv Haruach. So that's what kind of makes a little bit of a question here, how to learn the first half of the Mishnah. Rabbi Yehuda says, so Oiver Lefnei Teva, the one who passes before the ark. The Teva means the Aron, where the Sefer Torah is kept. The one who passes before it means the Chazan, the Shliach Tzibur, the one leading the services. So, a person who is being the Chazan on the last day of Sukkot, meaning on Shmini Atzeres, which is when we start, which is right now the Mishnah is for sure talking about Mashiv Haruach Hamerid Hageshem, and it's talking about start saying Mashiv Haruach Hamerid Hageshem or starting Mashiv Haruach Hamerid Hageshem on Shmini Atzeres, ha'achrein maskir, harishin and a maskir. The later one mentions it, the first one doesn't. The first one is the Baal Shachris. He's first. The later one, the last one, is the Baal Musaf. So the Mishnah is saying, when the Chazan is davening the Shemona Esrei, in which tefillah do we start saying Mashiv Haruach Hamerid Hageshem? The answer is not in Shachris, but in Musaf. That's what it means. Ha'achrein maskir, the last one or the second one, he's the one who mentions Mashiv Haruach Hamerid Hageshem, while the first one, the Baal Shachris, does not. Now, why is it that way? Let me read to you from the bottom here. Very interesting. The bottom line is that Mashiv Haruach Hamerid Hageshem is supposed to start on Shmini Atzeres. So why do we wait to Musaf to start it? So it goes like this. Although the day halachically begins at nightfall, right? Shmini Atzeres starts at night. Why don't you say Mashiv Haruach Hamerid Hageshem by Ma'ariv? Why not? The answer is we do not start saying Mashiv Haruach during the evening prayer of Ma'ariv because not everyone attends the Ma'ariv service. How do you like that? Not everybody comes to shul at night. Now you have to understand that in those days, the shuls were out. It's not like where everybody was living the shul. The shul was typically out. It was outside of that city. It was outside of the city. So it wasn't always so safe going. So at night, not everybody came to Ma'ariv service. And thus, many will not hear the announcement to begin saying it. Right? There's always supposed to be an announcement to say Mashiv Ruach, right? Give a clap, right? Mashiv Ruach Merid Geshem, right? If not everybody's by Ma'ariv, some are going to hear it, some aren't. As a result, some people will say it at Ma'ariv and others will not. And that's not good. And it's not proper for the community to be divided in this manner. Some people saying, some people not saying, not a good way to go. All right, so Ma'ariv's out. We do not begin saying it at Shachris either, because a person may not say Mashiv Ruach until he hears the public announcement to begin saying it, right? You got to have a club. You got to have an announcement. Someone's got to say Mashiv Ruach. It means it has to be an announcement to start. And why you have to have this announcement? Again, they say in the brackets here, otherwise some people will say it and others will not. Some people are going to realize these should start. Some people aren't going to realize. So you need a clap. You need an announcement to make sure everybody does it. Okay, now, the announcement cannot be made during Shachris. Can't make the announcement by Shachris because it is forbidden to interrupt for any reason between the blessing before the Shemoneh Esrei of Shachris and Shemoneh Esrei, right? You can't have a half-step between Gula Latfila, between Gal Yisrael and Shemoneh Esrei. You can't have an interruption. And, you can't, and apparently, an announcement, after Baruch, right? That's gonna remember by the time you get to Shemoneh Esrei, not gonna remember. So the announcement is supposed to be right before, but right before you can't do it because you can't interrupt between Gal Yisrael and Shemoneh Esrei. All right, so Shachris is out. Therefore, it's postponed until Musaf when the announcement may be made. Right before Musaf, no problem making an announcement. Therefore, you wait for Musaf for Mashiv Ruach Merid Geshem. Okay, all right. Now, so that's the first part of the Mishnah. First part of this part of the Mishnah. That again, when do we start? So Ha'achrin Maskir, the Baal Musaf, the one who davens Musaf, he begins Mashiv Ruach. The Baal Shachris doesn't. That's when it comes to starting to say Mashiv Ruach. How about when you stop saying Mashiv Ruach? That's the Pesach, right? First day of Pesach, we stop saying Mashiv Ruach. So regarding that, the Mishnah says, B'yom Tov Harishon Shel Pesach, on the first day of Pesach, Harishon Maskir. The first one, meaning the Baal Shachris, says Mashiv Ruach, right? We say Mashiv Ruach by Shachris, the first day of Pesach. Ha'achrin Eina Maskir. But by Musaf, that's when we stop. That's when we don't say it anymore. Okay. Now, here too, let's go through like what's the issue here? What's the issue here when it comes to stopping saying Mashiv Ruach on Pesach? And it's supposed to be the first day of Pesach. That we know. Okay, but we're saying when do you stop? By Musaf. How come? So let's go through it again. All right. The reason we do not stop saying Mashiv Ruach until Musaf are the same as the reasons why we do not begin saying it until the Musaf prayer. As explained in the previous note, the change cannot be made at Ma'ariv because not everyone attends the Ma'ariv service, right? You can't make the change then, not everybody's there. And it cannot be made at Shachris because the required announcement cannot be made then. Now, keep in mind right now something that we're not used to, and that's a little bit, can be a little bit different in this shul, which is what we're going to explain soon. But the point is, but the thing is that the same way, theoretically, let's call it, not actually theoretically, the same way there's an announcement to start saying Mashiv Ruach, for the same reason you need an announcement to say stop, right? You need that too, same reason, right? You don't want one person saying, other people yes saying, some people not saying. So you need an announcement to say stop, okay? And so again, Ma'ariv, not everybody's there. Shachris, you can't make the announcement. Can't make the announcement Shachris. And so therefore, what's left? Musaf. Now, in regarding to stopping, I'm going to continue reading here in the notes. In regarding to stopping to an announcement is necessary. However, it is not appropriate to announce that the recitation of a prayer should be stopped. You don't say stop saying Mashiv Ruach. No, it's not the proper way to do it. Not the proper way to say stop saying this prayer. Not appropriate. Okay. Rather, a positive announcement is made. You got to be positive, right? A positive announcement is made. So before the Musaf prayer, the leader states that everyone should begin saying the words Morilatal. Okay, everyone should start saying Merid Atal. Okay, which means he brings down to do, and that basically tells everybody, okay, no more Mashiv Ruach. Now we switch over to Merid Atal. What if you don't say Merid Atal? Like Nusach Ashkenaz doesn't say Merid Atal. What do you do then? So let's read. It should be noted, however, that the practice of saying Merid Atal, he brings down the dew, is observed only in the land of Israel and in Sephardic communities everywhere. It is not observed in many Ashkenazic communities outside the land of Israel. Meaning in Eretz Yisrael, everybody says Merid Atal. Sfard and Nusach Sfard say Merid Atal. Right? You have Nusach Ashkenaz, you don't say Merid Atal outside of Eretz Yisrael. Therefore, no announcement at all can be made in these Ashkenazic communities. Since there is no announcement, the congregation's communities continue saying Mashiv Haruach in the silent Shmoneh Esrei of Musaf, which is what we do. When the Chazan repeats the Musaf prayer aloud, he emits Mashiv Haruach, and that's everybody knows to stop. Meaning, because you can't, because you don't say, those who don't say Merid Atal, right? So by the silent Shmoneh Esrei, they're going to say Mashiv Haruach. They're going to say Mashiv Haruach. But once the Chazan repeats and he doesn't say Mashiv Haruach, then already that's your announcement to stop. The Chazan didn't do it. Everybody hears the Chazan, right? You're supposed to listen to the Chazan, right? So everybody hears the Chazan left it out. Therefore, that becomes your announcement. Now, can you pass me that sitter? I'm trying to remember if when we say Tfilas Tal, what do we say? No. Yeah, all those things. It's not in this sitter. Oh, here it is. So, all right. But actually, in Tfilas Tal, the way we say it is Shatu Hashem Elokeinu Mashiv Haruach Merid Atal. So we do have an announcement, but not by the silent Shmoneh Esrei. We have an announcement as part of Tfilas Tal, but we don't have a, so to speak, a separate Merid Atal announcement.
That's right before the repetition, right?
That's during the repetition. That's in the repetition, Tfilas Tal.
It's after the first bracha repetition?
It's in the middle, remember. It's in the middle of the second.